Hi, Scott here. Hey, welcome back to the Marketing for Business podcast. Got a great episode for you today. It's going to be a fast-paced one. Look, I know it's the 19th of December and we're already, just about to finish our Christmas shopping, etc. Well, for me, I'm just about to start it. But I wanted to give you an insight into something that happened this year during a seminar. And look, I asked the question, who here has heard of the yellow pages? And look, there was a percentage of the group, probably over 100 odd people had never heard of the yellow pages. And it made me realize, we're going into a generation that will never know what the yellow pages were from a business marketing perspective. I used to write advertising for the yellow pages for businesses, and I can tell you what, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I've actually got a copy of the yellow pages here, right now, and it's definitely a lot smaller than what it used to be, right? It's a thin book. It used to be able to drop it and would make a thud. Now it's not so much, right? So, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that I really started to look at and started to analyze after that seminar was there's a percentage of people that don't know what the yellow pages is, have never used it, right? So there's a generation that's has missed the yellow pages. But there's actually, then I asked another question, who here still uses search engines? And there was about 3 or 4 people out of 100 that actually don't use search engines anymore. And it's like, okay, well, what are you using? And they said they started using AI, ChatGPT-4, etc., ChatGPT. So they're now using AI to do all their search. There was a couple of people that were using TikTok, a couple of people using Instagram to find out the information that they wanted as well. So that made me think again, we are actually going to go through a generation that doesn't actually use search, like Google search, Bing search, etc., the way that we've used it in the past. I was speaking at the university this year and I made showed a slide of, just Google it was such a saying, and someone said, yeah, just ChatGPT it. And look, when Google brings their Gemini to New Zealand, we're going to see a whole bunch of other ways of using AI to search. And it makes me realize there's a few things as a business owner you want to really start thinking about. And look, I've got about 7 things here that I want to talk to you about. And I'm going to go quite quickly because I know you've got Christmas shopping to do. But I want you to think about, number one is, look, the evolution of discovery is changing. How your business gets discovered is changing. Yes, it was static ads here in the yellow pages, and it might have been even static ads on Facebook or Instagram, etc. That's even evolved now as far as video ads and all that type of stuff. Search engines, even that's evolved. People discovering your brands online, and now that's even evolved to now finding you on social media, etc. Voice search, apps. There's so many different ways that AI-driven recommendations will be coming as well. So the evolution of discovery is really changed. And this brings up my point number 2. The importance of having a digital presence. Look, it's 19th December 2024. If you're not taking your digital presence seriously, then I'd say you're at the risk of really being outmarketed to, and your competitors will definitely take advantage of that. Look, while search engines are still critical, I think more businesses really need to look at these other platforms and spend time where people are, such as Instagram, TikTok. Local apps, Google Maps, the likes of that is where your customers are going to be hanging out. You need to be there. I reckon, definitely using voice and visual search, more and more of these activated AI assistants are happening, likes of Siri, visual search around Pinterest, Google Lens, etc. More and more people are going to start using those. And number 3 would be looking at your owned media versus your rented media. Owned media, obviously investing in your own platforms, your own assets that you control, like your email newsletter, maybe your messenger database, your website, and having those email email list up to date. Branded apps is even going to be probably become even more and more when it comes to your own platform. And I always say to people, if you would have heard me say this in my seminars, remember whose sandpit it is. You want to make sure it's your sandpit, you're owning that area. And then obviously you've got the rented media that you're using, the likes of Facebook, Google, etc. That they're vital for your reach. You can reach new customers, and you can diversify your marketing, and really you can actually ramp up your presence depending on what you want to achieve. But really be clear that you have some of your owned media moving forward. And look, number 4, and this is a big one, and it's something I want you to consider when you're putting this into your marketing mix in 2025, is that content is the currency of the future. Creating content is really, really the key to building that authority in the marketplace and having more and more people know who you are. And that is about designing that strategy first, to pick the tactics to produce the results you want. That strategy thinking is where that content piece really gets created. Because look, you've got ads, and that's great, but you want to be able to get across your message and your voice so people know, like, and trust you. And one of the best ways to do that is give value in advance of anyone ever giving you any money. I learned that in 2006 going into the World Internet Summit, and it served me very, very well 19 odd years later. So whether you're posting content on your blog, whether you're posting content on social media, creating videos, etc., doing a podcast like I've been doing for nearly 2 years now, you want to be creating content, creating that authority out in the marketplace. You want to be also, what we call capturing those micro moments. Focus on being present in those small areas of content, especially when your customers are looking for answers and looking for inspiration. So, answering the questions that are coming in either on your Google Business Profile or on your ads, making sure you're definitely capturing those. Number 5 is, look, you've got to prepare for AI and the predictive algorithms that are coming. AI, I'd say you're using it as a filter. And really looking at it as a way it can be your assistant. That's one of the biggest things I've seen. There's still a lot of I guess hype out there about AI, but one of the best things we've ever done in our company is how do we find an hour back in our week using technology, and really working with your teams to get that time back and helping them use AI better. It allows you to maybe be a bit more proactive in your marketing. You can actually plan a bit better. So even if you're using it from a tool from that perspective, can really help you with your business. Number 6 is one thing I really think local businesses really should use. I'm actually going to do a whole podcast on this, is I believe you should market like the mayor, or the mayoress for that matter. Local is key, especially that local content that you're putting out there, making sure it's very localized to your community and to the people that you're wanting to serve. Making sure you have a really good local presence, using the likes of the Google Business Profile. If you're a local business, you need to think like you're the mayor, mayoress, and what would they do to market themselves? And I'm going to go into more detail into that. But number 1, hey, definitely Google Business Profile. Get your content up there, running localized ads, etc. And personalize the experience. Personalize what you're doing. If you're dealing with certain people, calling them out in your content is a really good way to do that. And personalize those interactions, and get local figures that know, like, and trust you talking about your business as well, especially if they've been a client of yours. It builds that loyalty, it builds that trust, etc. And look, number 7 is building value in the community. Look, people come for the content, but they stay for the community aspect of it. We've done this reasonably well with our business this year, focusing on more in customer events, getting people together, building that community. It's easy to just get lost online today, but doing things offline can really, really help your business grow. Whether it's an after 5, or whether it's a lunch and learn, which we've done, an after 5, which we've done, or a client lunch, etc. Bringing people together and can really help build those brand advocates for your business too. Because at the end of the day, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust, and they want to do business with people they can, to some degree, have conversations with. It's not all about the digital presence and not all about AI. It's about face-to-face communities and connections. And number 8 to finish this is I'd really, if you're looking at planning your business for 2025, part of that strategy should be your education strategy or your insight strategy. I urge businesses to really step into the knowledge that you have inside your head and start to share it with more people. Keep up to date with what's going on with the trends, etc. But you know what? You have so much knowledge inside your head. It's just time to share a little bit of that with the world. And leverage these platforms. Seriously, leverage these platforms like social media. You can go live on Facebook. You can go live on Instagram. You can be running TikTok. You can be shooting a podcast and recording a podcast and having that podcast then get loaded up to YouTube, then get loaded into YouTube Shorts, etc. There's so many things that you can do to leverage, and it's actually not that hard once you get going. And even this podcast, I recorded the first 80 odd episodes on my iPhone. So there's no real excuses. So, what I want you to realize is there's a generation that's missed the yellow pages. There's going to be a generation that missed search. There's going to be a generation that are going to capture the next way of doing stuff. But here's the thing, for your business, focus on those 8 things that I've just gone through. Focus on, educating your customers. Focus on building value in the community. Focus on really marketing yourself locally. Focus on preparing for AI. Try to get an hour back a day, an hour back a week. Challenge yourself. Focus on the fact that content is the currency of the future. Focus on you're going to own some of your own media and use those rented media platforms to grow your business. Focus on the importance of digital, and remember the evolution of discovery. Just because a generation's missed the yellow pages and maybe a generation has missed search, there are going to be other platforms and other areas where you can grow your business on. So your job is to have the mindset, to have growth-focused mindset, to go and search those out. But at the same time, I just want to leave you with this, because there's businesses advertising in the yellow pages here. Now, I know success leaves clues. And I know some of these advertisers, and I actually know they're making money from the yellow pages. So don't be too quick to quit on things that have worked in the past. All right. Hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Hey, have a Merry Christmas, guys. Enjoy your break if you're getting one. The podcast will be going through. I've pre-recorded a whole bunch of podcasts. So if you can, share the podcast, share this one. I really do appreciate you sharing. We're constantly hitting the top 10, sometimes hitting number 1. It's such a buzz to be able to add to this community. I've got some great community events happening next year for the Marketing for Business podcast, and I really appreciate everyone sharing. So Merry Christmas from me and the team at Digital Influence and the Marketing for Business podcast. Until we meet again, make sure you have fun, and as always, celebrate your victories.